Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of Good Neighbor. I have the pleasure of chatting with Sean Landis of Grand Oak Mortgage. Sean has been in the business for so long. I'm so excited to talk to him today, simply because, of course, I sell real estate, but he is one of the partners who I work with to try to get people pre-approved for a home loan. So let's get started. Hi,
Great.
Sean.
How are you?
I am great. So Sean, tell me, I know that Grand Oak Mortgage is in Grand Blanc. However, because you are a mortgage broker, you can work anywhere in Michigan. Where are you originally from and how'd you get started in the business?
Yeah. Well, I personally grew up in Pennsylvania and moved to Michigan, went to high school in Jackson. And then my parents were transferred to the Grand Blanc area in 1984. That's how long I've been around. So I've been in the business since 1995. And the interesting part about our company, as you mentioned, we are in Grand Blanc, Michigan, but we can do mortgages all over the state and do mortgages all over the state. I've closed loans from Benton Harbor to Traverse City up in the UP, Escanaba, but primarily probably 75-80% of our businesses in this, Genesee, Oakland County, Lapeer, Shiawassee, Livingston area, because that's where, people I know are. Mm-hmm. But Grand Oak Mortgage itself, I'm not sure you know this, but it started in 1986 and it was started by my mom, Carol Landis.
I know that.
She was the pioneer and she started and she was working tons of hours. And I saw that in like 1995. I was working for a company that sold 401ks and cafeteria plans, which at the time, everyone knows what they are now, but back then no one did. And, it was a good career and would have been a great career, but I saw my mom working 50, 60 hours a week. And I'm like,
wow.
She's got to stop doing that. So I went to help her out and it ended up being that I was working 50, 60 hours a week along with her. So, but yeah, we've been around for quite a while. We can help anyone in Michigan. Lots of experience. We've experienced a lot the last 3 years in this world. And to take that back to 1995, we pretty much have seen it all. So.
Yeah, for sure. You have been in the business so long and you're a wealth of knowledge. And one of the things that I love about working with you is that you answer the phone, I can call or text you. My clients can call or text you and you're there for them. And even if I have someone who is ready, but like needs a little bit of tweaking on like a debt to income ratio or a credit score, you're there to help give some extra guidance to tell them what they need to do so that we can 100% get this deal closed. I've never had a deal fall through working with you. I've had challenging ones for sure. And I appreciate the patience.
Yeah.
I know that you drink a lot because of me, but you're just so great at what you do. And I will recommend you a million times over to any of my clients.
Well, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. It's communication and being available, so yeah, I mean, I'm available 24/7 in a sense on my cell phone, and I have no problem talking to realtor contacts, referral contacts, because you got to be there to answer questions. If you're not there, they're going to call somebody else. And at the end of the day, like you said, communication, it's a two-way street. Again, you've worked a lot of loan officers, good and bad, over your time. I've worked a lot of realtors that are good and bad over the time. Some, and the communication is the key, telling you about the borrower. Here's what they can do. Here's what they can't do. And, you listening and taking that and working with them and your communication to me back once they start looking at houses. Hey, here's what they have. Here's the price range. Here are the taxes. So you and I, we've got to work together to help that client out. And not all of them are, 750 credit scores, 20% down borrowers that fit conventional financing. There are challenges out there that everybody has. And there are many more people that we deal with that are challenging than that are perfect. And that's what I try to convey to people is like, a lot of people are very afraid to talk to you and I about getting a mortgage or buying a house because they're afraid to hear the word no. No, you can't do this right now. But as you and I know, we've worked with a couple of people like this. You've referred to me, no, you can't do this right now, but you do these 3 things. And in a month, 3 months, 6 months, you're going to be buying a house. So, every loan officer would like life to be easy, where you have a 20% down borrower with 750 credit scores, but that's not the reality. So I implore people to call you and call me to tell them tell us about their situation in lives. So you and I can figure out what loan programs they're eligible for, how much of a house they can be approved for. And then you do your great job of showing them the homes and negotiating the
Yeah.
contracts.
It's so true. What do you think are some of the biggest or common misconceptions that people have about getting a mortgage and getting pre-approved?
Yeah. Honestly, I think the biggest one is money, how much money they
Yeah.
need to close. Because so many people call me up, do I need 20% down? And the answer is no. You and I
Yeah.
know this, but trying to convey to the world, there are the VA loan and our rural development loan are zero down programs, literally 0% down.
Yeah.
And you and I have dealt with a couple of borrowers on these programs where program 0% down. You do a great job in negotiating seller concessions, and seller concessions can cover closing costs and escrows. So you and I have worked with borrowers before that have bought homes with $1,000 or less
No money
dollars out
down.
of
Yeah.
pocket. So number one, there's those two programs that there are qualifications for them, but even conventional financing now has 3% down, FHA's 3.5% down. We have actually a lender that has a grant program that does 1% down.
1%.
And
That's incredible.
There are some, as you and I are finding out, there are some cities and areas out there that offer grants as well for people buying in their specific cities and townships, which those, you've got to do a little research on them. But again, you don't need a ton of money to buy a house. And if you do, it can be money that you save. It can be money that you borrow against a retirement program or get a gift from a family member. So if you don't have the money, we've had a lot of borrowers that get gifts from family members and that we can use those funds to close. So don't be afraid of that. And then, credit, I'd say credit history. A lot of people are afraid to even ask the question about that. But you don't know till you find out, and you don't need 700 credit scores. We have programs that go down as low as 580.
I think that's the shocker. Everybody's like, oh my gosh, I need all this money. And you really don't. Like, there are ways to negotiate it down, even like negotiating down your interest rate and things like that to give you a bigger spend. Like, there's so many ways that we can work around what you actually have to offer.
100%. And again, no one likes to hear no, but you really don't know until you call myself to figure out what you and I can do to help them out. And again, you and I are not a hard no. We're like, no now, but we're going to help you get to where you want to be.
Yep, definitely. What's your favorite thing about this business?
Oh, that's pretty easy, actually. It's anything that I do for a borrower, if it's a purchase transaction, their dream is to own a house and buy a house. And home ownership is one of the big dream items that we all have. And when you and I've been there, when we're at closing, those keys get exchanged, and the satisfaction that borrowers have and the sense of pride they have in being a homeowner, just seeing those smiles and the hugs and the appreciation they have for helping them on the journey. And then on refinances, it's the same thing. When someone comes to us to refinance, they're either doing a rate and term refinance where they're paying off a mortgage and lowering their payment, or they're doing a cash out refinance where we're paying off a mortgage and a bunch of credit card debt, or maybe taking some cash out for home improvement. Again, it's like I'm doing something to help them get to where they want to be, to make their life better. So that's the greatest part about this business. You're helping people achieve their goals of home ownership, or maybe better financial situation with their refinance.
Yeah, definitely.
And working with a lot of great realtors. Working with a lot of great realtors. So
there are some out there that are not so friendly.
You're 100% right.
Yeah, you're right. I'm sure we know a few.
Yes.
What's your special sauce that's kept you in the business for all these years?
You know what? I think it's just, communication's important with realtors and referral contacts, and, being direct and communicating with the borrower, letting them know where we stand, what we can do, following up with them, during the process, keeping them, and being honest, integrity. When someone comes to me, as you've seen a lot of the things I do, I share with my clients what we think, based upon a $150,000 purchase, 200, I give them an idea up front how much money they need to bring to closing and what their payment's going to be. And when we get to closing, that's what they see. There's no smoke and mirrors. I don't, honesty is important to us and to me. And that's how Grand Oak Mortgage has stayed around since 1986. There have been a lot of mortgage brokers that have been in the business and haven't been able to withstand this duration because they get in and out. I don't think they always have the best interest of the client in at heart. And for
Yeah.
you and I, we align well because you and I know if we do a good thing for our clients, they're going to remember us. They're going to come back
Mm-hmm.
and see us and talk to us in the future when they buy another house. And more importantly, refer their friends, family members, coworkers, and such. And that's where longevity comes in the business. That's where your bread and butter is. So that's what I think there.
Agreed. So I am from Grand Blanc. I graduated from Grand Blanc High School. My parents live in Grand Blanc, so I drive past your office so often.
Right.
I love Grand Blanc. It's like quaint and just small and just like really
Mhm.
community based. What do you
Yep.
love about Grand Blanc?
No, absolutely. Like I said, we moved to Grand Blanc from Jackson in 1984, and I had just graduated high school. I went to Mott for a couple semesters before going to Central. And so my brother's a little younger than me. He grew up here, so he went through elementary school, middle school, high school, and Grand
Uh-huh.
Blanc has grown quite a bit since those 80s and
Yeah.
90s. But like you said, it still has that sense of community and
Hmm.
more importantly, probably affordable housing.
Yes.
There are quite a wide array of price points in Grand Blanc. You can
Hmm.
get really nice homes, 4 or 5, 6, $700,000 houses, even higher. But also, I think for what I think the bulk of home buyers in these days are first time home buyers. There are homes out there that are in the 125 to 250 price range that
That's
are
so true.
affordable for those homeowners. That it's a great place to start a family and
Yeah.
build your family from there. And then, who knows what the future holds there. But I think the home affordability in Grand Blanc compared to some of the areas around, northern Oakland County, southern Genesee County, those price points, with taxes as well, can
Yeah.
price a lot of borrowers out of the market.
That's so true. I never thought about it like that, but you're absolutely right. Like there's 150,000 lower condos and then way up to like $1 million homes in Grand
Yeah.
Blanc. So
Yep.
true. I didn't think about that. So one last question for
Yes.
you. What would be some advice you would give to someone or your younger self who's looking to get into the business in general?
Yeah. Well, it's the mortgage and real estate business, as you know, takes a while to get your footing. There's a lot to learn. There's a big learning curve. But if you're in the business for the right reasons and you're getting clients and you're closing deals and you're taking care of them and giving them what they want, it's going to lead to referrals and it's going to keep you in the business long term. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you have to be patient. There is a learning curve, because every file that you do, you learn something new. I mean, I've been doing this since 1995, and there's probably not a week that goes by that I don't learn something new in this business. So it's ever changing. Programs change, guidelines change with lenders, so you got to stay up on that. It's exciting. Interest rates are a big factor in what you and I do.
Yes.
Staying in tune with the market so you can let your clients know when to lock in, when not to lock in, that kind of stuff. So it is challenging, which I like. And, a lot of people say, well, you just do mortgages all the time, been doing it for 30 years or whatever. It's like, well, every client you work with is different than the next. Every file is different. They have different incomes, different assets, different situations. So you've got to, work each file a little bit differently, which keeps it new and fresh.
That's so true. Okay, I lied. I do have one more question. Can you please tell us or tell everybody else, is the market gonna crash? Everybody has this rumor and this thing that they believe.
Yes. Yeah. Well,
give us
that's
some
a
insight.
great question, because I hear that one a lot myself. People are delaying purchasing a house because, oh, we're at a peak right now
Yeah.
we're heading to a crash, this and that. And what happened in 2000 and 2010, that time frame was a one-off. It was horrible for a lot of people. There are a lot of and a lot of bad things that led up to that situation. We are nowhere like that situation now. The loan programs that we have now, borrowers actually get, have a standard of what they need to be approved for. Back then, you pretty much would fog a mirror and get a mortgage, So programs and guidelines have changed quite a bit. And then secondly, unfortunately for you and I, the lack of inventory out there, I'm sure you would love to list more houses and sell more homes to buyers, but there's a huge lack of inventory out there. And that's going to be the big difference between now and back then.
Yeah.
You had a lot of people going into foreclosure weekly, monthly. So there were a
Yeah.
lot of homes that were on the market, which did not help in that situation. We didn't have as many buyers. Now it's the 100% 80 opposite of that, where we now have a lot of buyers out there, a lot of interest in homes, but we don't have a lot of homes to sell. So
Yeah.
when you have more buyers than you have inventory, house
Hmm.
prices are not going to go down. They're just not. They're going
Exactly.
up. I've heard different statistics across the country in the last couple of years, 15 to 25% appreciation. So I try to tell people, and it happened already once this year, a couple of times, of borrowers that were looking to buy in the spring and they couldn't find a house that they wanted. And they were, I'm going to quit. I'm going to give up and I'm going to see. And now they're back in the market and they're paying 10, 15, 20 grand more for that house.
Yeah.
So procrastinating, I think, is only going to cost you more money. And as you know, homes are permanent, rates are temporary. We'd all love rates to be
Exactly.
better than they are right now, but they are what they are. So you got to deal with it. So, you do your great job in getting people in a house. And then I get
Hmm.
them, the best financing I can now. And then in a
Yeah.
year from now or 2 years from now, when rates go down to 5,
Refi.
5.5%, refinance and pocket
Yep.
$200-300 a month. So,
That's the key.
yeah, you got to get out there and, let you and I help them make that step to home ownership and get out of renting, because rent
Yeah.
costs are only going to be going up as the years come as well.
It's so expensive to rent.
It is.
It's astronomical, honestly. Like there's a new building construction, whatever, down the street from me, and they're starting out, I think, $2,400 for 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. I'm like, $2,400?
Right.
That's a mortgage unlike a 200 or $300,000 house.
Exactly. I was going to say, yep, that's pretty much it. 300,000 house you could own as opposed to renting a small 2-bedroom place.
Yeah. Well, Sean, it's been such a pleasure. You're so knowledgeable, and I just love working with you and sending my clients to you. And I will continue to refer them until I'm no longer in the business or you're no longer in the business.
Right. Well, it's a mutual thing. I enjoy you, and your customers are always great to work with. And, again, we're aligned very well, because that's really all we care about are our customers,
Yeah,
getting them the
for
best
sure.
value, getting them the best mortgage situation and scenario.
Yeah.
And it's worked out wonderfully. And I appreciate this opportunity to talk to you and everybody else.
Thanks, Sean. How can people get a hold of you at Grand Oak Mortgage? Do you
Absolutely.
have
Well,
social media?
yes. Well, I'll give you my cell phone because I have that on me all the time. So 248-854-1416 is my cell number. You can call, text there. My work number, 810-695-5400. If you like email better, it's slandis@grandoak.com. And, we don't get to see as many people as we used to face
Yeah.
since COVID, which is a bummer, because I really like to get to see people, know people, get to,
Yeah.
know their lives a little bit. So
I had one client come into your office.
you did.
That
Yep.
was weird, but I
Yep.
mean,
It's very rare anymore. Most people want to just email over their documents. We have a secure site that people upload stuff to and that kind of thing. And
yeah.
that's fine too. I have no problem doing that. And we do a lot of that. So yeah, call
Mhm.
me, email me, text me. It doesn't matter. I'll be happy to talk to anyone anytime.
Yeah. And then I also have a link that you and I share that they could start the loan process. So I'll post that once I upload the video. That way they can just click the link, get started. All their information is there, and we can
Yep.
get the ball rolling and get some new
Well,
buyers out there.
But at our we have a website, www.grandoak.com. It's not a salesy site at all. It's more informational. Just, hey, here's what the mortgage business is all about. Here's what you need to know. And there is an application on there that you can go through. You don't have to fill in every single detail on there, but the important pieces, and that obviously I get that. And then I reach back out to the customer and fill in the blanks and try to get them pre-approved to buy a house and send them your way.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you, Sean, so much for your time.
You bet.
And we'll be talking soon.
All right. Have a good day.
You too.
Bye.